Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we'll be discussing quadratic simultaneous equation that has no solutions, okay? So what we're gonna do is before you start, try as much as possible to review previous videos. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or send me an email and I will get back to you. Is that all right? Also, please, before you move on, don't forget to subscribe so that when I upload new videos, you'll be the first to know. So you have to click the notification bell. So here, we're going to talk about equations that have no solutions. And like I said in the previous video, these kinds of equations or both equations, or when you sketch the graph, they don't intersect. And also, you can also find it by either knowing the discriminants and also or trying to sketch both graphs together, all right? And this method follows the 5 rules or 5 steps of solving simultaneous equation. So I would advise that you watch the previous video, okay? I talked about it in the previous video when I talked about the elimination by substitution method. So regardless as well, all the methods I'm going to use here, I'm going to use the elimination by substitution method. So it is very important that you go back to the previous video and watch how to do it. Just for the fun of it, just to put us all on the same page, I'm going to write these 5 steps of using the elimination by substitution method here again, so that just in case you've forgotten, this will be a form of review for you. So I told you that you have to select any of the equations, all right? Select any of the equation and make one variable the subject of the formula. Okay? Then after that, the next thing you have to do then is that you have to substitute the answer from step 1 okay, the answer from step 1 for the second variable in the second equation. Number 3, you have to then find the value of the variable from step 2, okay? And number 3, you then have to find the value of the variable from step 2. Okay? So, and like I said also when I was talking about elimination by substitution, the first thing to do is that you have to also check, okay? You have to check. So you have to check the discriminants. So when I mean the discriminants, I'm referring to the b squared minus 4ac, okay, of the resultant quadratic equation. So before you proceed, you have to check this. So, but because we are having questions that have no solution, we're going to mostly stop in step 3 because we cannot proceed. But just for clarity's sake, I'm going to write all the rules here. So, for instance, when you have b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, and there is no solution. So this means there is no solution. And it means that what? No intersections. So the lines does not intersect. All right? So the line do not intersect. Okay, so these are the kind of questions we're going to solve now. But for this place, I'm going to try as much as possible to solve questions that have the b squared minus 4ac less than 0, but I'm going to just add the rest here. So just in case, just to make it complete, all right? The next one is when it's equal to 0. It means that there is only one solution. So with one solution, it means that the lines are tangent, or they just meet at one point. Number 3, we have b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, okay? So in this case, we're gonna have two solutions, all right? But in this case, with two solutions here, is that the lines will meet at 2 points. Is that okay? So the line intersects, or they meet, they intersect at 2 points. Is that okay? At 2 points. So when you're done with that, the next thing is that step 4, we can now substitute the answer from step 3 into any of the variable. Okay, we can now substitute the answer from step 3 into any of the variable. Okay, so I've written this before, so you can now do that. So you substitute the answers from step 3 into any of the original equation. Okay. So when you substitute that into any of the original equation, that will now give you the second variable, okay? So that will be to find the second variable. So I've solved this as well in the previous video, so I'm just writing it here for clarity's sake. Then number 5, you now check your answer. So like I always say, the step 5 is not really important, okay? Okay, so you check your answer by either, okay, you check by either one, either you sketch, okay? So either you sketch it, you sketch the graph if you want to, or if you don't want to sketch the graph, number 2, you can then substitute both values. Okay, you substitute both values into either of the original equation. Okay, so these are the 5 steps to do this. All right, so we talked about this in the previous video, so I'm just writing it here to make it just to remind us of it. All right. So, but in this scenario, because we are looking at a question that has no solution, so you notice that the kind of answers we'll be getting will be answers that has b squared minus 4ac to be less than 0. So because there was no solution, there will be no need for us to do step 4 and step 5, all right? So I'm going to pick an example. Let's say we have this one now, example 1, all right? So in this example, we're told to solve the following equations. We have y is equal to x squared plus 2, and y is equal to minus x plus 1. So for instance, we're told to solve this. So step 1, okay, step 1 is that we need to select any of the equation and one variable. So I'm going to select y to be equal to minus x plus 1. Step 2, okay, substitute the answer from step 1 for the second variable in the second equation. So answer from step 1 for the second variable. So the second variable we have is x squared plus 2. Then we're going to substitute it. So it's going to be minus x plus 1 will be equal to x squared plus 2. All right. Then we substituted it. So step 3, Step 3 is now asking us to what? Find the values of the variables from step 2. So we then have to then solve. So what you can do, you can take all this to the other side. So it's going to be x squared. You take minus x to the other side. It's going to give you plus x. You take 1 to the other side. So it's going to give you minus 1 plus 2. So it's going to give us x squared plus x minus 1 plus 2 is going to give us plus 1. Okay. So remember, I told you before you now move forward, you need to what? You need to check. All right, so let us check now. So if you see, I did this in pink as well, that you have to check. You have to check the discriminant of the resultant. So let us see. So for the resultant, we have x squared plus x plus 1. So that means A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1, and C is equal to 1. So we now have to see, we have b squared minus 4ac, all right? So let's see, so it's going to give us 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1, and this will give us what? Minus 3. So minus 3 is less than 0, and because it's less than 0, it means that the line, which is minus the line and the curve does not intersect, and curve does not what? Intersect. Hence, right, no solution. So that means there is no need of us trying to solve this. Okay, so you're gonna just stop here. So that means step 4 and step 5 are not applicable. Can you see? Step 4 and 5 are not applicable, right? So you don't need to do anything again. You have to just stop at step 3, because when you draw this line for both of them, you will notice that both of the lines is not going to intersect, okay? So just for the fun of it, I'm going to try to sketch the graph. So I've talked about sketching before. So I'm going to just start step 6, right? Or the last steps. I'm going to just quickly talk about it, sketch a graph to just make it easy. So when you draw this graph, so we have x squared plus 2. Then just please go back and follow all the 5 steps or the 5 rules for sketching graph. You need to know for the quadratic, you need to know the x-intercept, the y-intercept, the vertex, the size, and the shape. So when you draw for x squared plus 2, you will notice after doing all what we talked about, it will look like this, with the intercept here to be at what? To be at 2. Is that okay? You see the vertex is 2 and the y-intercept is 2. Also, if you want to draw the line for minus x plus 1, remember I told you, you need to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So the y-intercept for this is going to be plus 1, somewhere here. And the x-intercept for this as well, the x-intercept is y is equal to 0, is going to give you 1 as well. So it's going to be somewhere here. And when you draw the line, you will notice something, that the line is not going to intersect. Are you seeing it? So you see, for this now, there is no solution. So you have to follow the rules for both the curve. So this is for the y is equal to minus x plus 1. And the other one is for y is equal to x squared plus 2. All right? Okay, and that is that for that. All right, so I'm going to pick another question so that we can understand and just to solidify what we learned. So you can see this example here. It's an example where you have a question, but there is no solution. All right. All right. Let me pick another example now. Okay. Let me say another example just to finalize this point. Okay. So let's say we have solved the following equation. So solve the following equations. All right. So we have 3x plus 2y is equal to 5. And let's say we have 3x squared plus 2y squared is equal to 3. All right, so let's do this. So step 1, okay, step 1, we need to look for the value of one of the variable. the subject of the formula. So like I always tell you, I'm always biased to making y the subject of the formula, right? So I'm going to prefer to use 3x plus 2y is equal to 5. I take 3x to the other side, so it's going to be 2y is equal to 5 minus 3x, okay? Which is the same thing as saying 2y is equal to minus 3x plus 5, okay, if you rearrange it, all right? Divide both sides by 2, divide both sides by 2, then you're going to have y is going to be equal to minus 3 over 2x plus 5 over 2. So that will be the answer for y. All right? Then step 2. The next step said you should what? You should then substitute the answer from step 1 for the second variable in the second equation. All right? So the second variable in the second equation was what? 3x squared plus 2y squared equal to 3. So anywhere I see y, I'm going to put this inside, all right? So for simplicity, I can rewrite this as y is equal to minus 3x plus 5 over 2, just to make it simple. So that means this is going to give me 3x squared plus 2 into brackets, all right? Minus 3x plus 5 divided by 2. All this squared is equal to what? 3. Okay, so I can open the brackets for each of them. So what I can do is I remember in the laws of indices, a over b all squared is equal to a squared over b squared, right? So I'm going to apply this here. So it's going to give me 3x squared plus 2 into bracket minus 3x plus 5 all squared divided by 2 all squared is equal to 3. As you know, 2 all squared will give you 4. So it's going to give you 3x squared plus 2 into bracket minus 3x plus 5 all squared divided by what? 4 is equal to 3. So you can simplify. 2 go here 1, 2 can go here 2. So it's going to give us 3x squared plus into bracket minus 3x plus 5 all squared divided by 2 is equal to 3. So the next step, I'm going to open this bracket now. Is that okay? I'm going to open the bracket. So remember we're having, let me see if I can clean this and see if it works. Yep. So I'm going to use this now. So we have this question here. So we have minus 3. We have minus 3x plus 5 squared, okay? Remember, it's the same thing as saying minus 3x plus 5, okay? Minus 3x plus 5, okay? Now, this is the same thing as saying a plus b, c plus d. So if you remember in algebra, you need to open the bracket. It will be a times c, will give you ac. A times d will give you what? AD. B times C will give you what? BC. And B times D will give you what? BD, right? So we're going to do exactly the same thing now. Okay? We're going to open the bracket just like what we said here. So let's open the bracket. So we'll start with the first one. So we have minus 3x times minus 3x. That will give us 9x squared. Are you seeing it? Minus 3 times minus 3 will give you 9x squared. Minus 3 plus 5 will give you minus 15x. Then 5 times minus 3x will also give you minus 15x. Minus 3x, 5 times 5 will give you what? 25. Okay, so this will be equal to 9x squared minus 30x plus 25. So that means I can replace all this in the bracket with that. So it will now give me 3x squared plus 9x squared minus 30x plus 25, all divided by 2 is equal to what? 3. Now I can break this down. Remember I told you also that, A plus B over C is equal to A over C plus B over C. All right, I told you this in basic algebra. So we're gonna do this the same way. So we're gonna break this down. It's gonna give us 3x squared plus 9x squared over 2 minus 30x over 2 plus 25 over 2 is equal to 3. Are you seeing it? So I'm going to collect like terms. So 3x squared plus 9 over 2x squared minus 30x over 2 plus 25 over 2 minus 3 is equal to 0. So I took 3 to the other side, okay? Now 3x squared plus 9 over 2x squared will give you 615 over 2x squared. And then 30 divided by 2 will give you 15 over x. 25 over 2 minus 3 over 2 is going to give you 19 over 2 is equal to 0. To get rid of this 2, I'm going to multiply both of them by what? 2. I will multiply everything by 2. So that will now give me 15x squared minus 15x, okay, plus 19 is equal to what? 0. So 15x squared minus 15x plus 19 is equal to what? 0. So, sorry, I made a mistake. So this is 15 times 2. It's not going to give 19, it's 20. I was looking at this. So it will give you 30, okay? So that will give you 30. So 15 times 2 will be 30. So it's going to give us 30x plus 19 is equal to 0. Now, this is the quadratic equation, the resultant quadratic equation we have, okay? But we need to go back. We said we need to check whether b squared minus 4ac is less than 0 or greater than 0. So we're going to go to the next slide. So we had 15 squared minus 30x plus 19 is equal to 0. So we know our a is 15, our b is equal to minus 30, and our c is equal to 19. Okay? So to check the b squared minus 4ac, it's going to give us minus 30 all squared minus 4 times 15 times 19. And when you press your calculator, this is going to give you minus 240. Minus 240 is less than 0. So because it's less than 0, you can see that there will be what? There will be no solution for this. So you can try, if you sketch the graph as well, okay? If you sketch the graph, what step is that? That will be step 4, right? To sketch the graph. Step 5. So if you sketch the graph in step 5, you will notice as well, there will be no intersection. Okay? So there will be no intersection as well. So that means this simultaneous equation has no solution. Is that right? So just follow the rules for sketching and you will see the different answer you will get. All right, so the next video, that is that for that, for no solution. So you can see this simultaneous equation, there are no solutions for that. The next video we're going to talk about one solution. So quadratic simultaneous equation that has only one solution. Is that okay? So I'm going to see you in the next video. Like I always say, if you have any question, feel free to send me a message or stop me around. And also don't forget to subscribe and turn the notification bell so when I post new videos, you'll be the first person to know. All right, so I'm going to see you in the next video where we're going to talk about quadratic simultaneous equation that has only one solution. All right, see you soon.